You mentioned you made mistakes, and I think all of us would probably admit to that along the way. I've heard many people from out of our state say that in California, for instance, you're really nobody unless you've failed once or twice. In Wisconsin, we seem to have an inherent fear of failure. I guess you guys have been bold and you've fought through your shares of down cycles and mistakes. How did you do it, and what insights would you share with the rest of the audience to overcome that fear of failure?
From the investor side, we're taking risk, no different like a PS cap. We're not looking to generate treasury rate returns. So therefore, with risk, with returns like that, you're going to have risk, and you have to get back on the horse after a loss, and that's a hard thing to do because I think for any investor, at least most, your wins you remember for a day, your losses keep you up at night, but you have to continue to invest. You have to approach every deal as a unique, set of facts, and they're going to have pluses and minuses on those, and you got to make a read, and you go forward, and you work the plan as well as you can. But you can't expect to generate 20% returns and not have some failures.
I think from a company owner perspective, first of all, I think the difference between entrepreneurs, which are the business owners, small business owners, and the good managers or employees that don't have a lot of equity stake is how you handle that fear of failure. If you're an entrepreneur, you're afraid of failure because you need to be to drive good results. You need to use it as a motivator to succeed, but you don't let it stop you from trying. And I think people who are non-entrepreneurs let that fear of failure stop them from trying. People see business owners and entrepreneurs, and they typically see the upside. Wow, you have a nice car, you have a nice house. What they don't see is what we went through in the bad economy, which many business owners did, where you're looking over the edge to the abyss, going, I'm really afraid, but now I'm going to work even harder. You can't quit. So I think the fear of failure is probably benefiting the state being somewhat stable versus California also, but maybe less ingenuity in the state.
Tom, some of the deals you put together have been management buyout deals where you have had to evaluate a company's management team for competency and character. How do you do that? What's the criteria? How do you evaluate a company's management team to see if it's a team that your company wants to invest in?
Primarily, it's in as most of these deals are, they're fairly lengthy due diligence processes, so you end up spending a lot of time with the CEO, the CFO, head of sales, and it's over that, sometimes 60-day to 120-day to 180-day period that you get a chance to ask lots of questions and understand, what motivates that manager, some of their strengths and weaknesses. And you also have to realize the businesses that we deal with and are usually, 5 million of EBITDA to 15 to 20 million of EBITDA, you're probably not going to have a wealth of management depth. You're not talking to a Procter & Gamble that has layers and layers, and you're probably going to have to make an overall evaluation saying, really strong on the sales side, the controller or CFO is decent. You always want the CEO to be strong, but sometimes that you have to make a read, are they the right person for this company at the time? But it's really just a question and answer and feeling out process. And we've made mistakes, and unfortunately, you never probably make a move to remove a manager fast enough. I don't think at any time we've ever said, gee, we should have probably waited longer. But you try to have people, give them a chance, try to have them, get back on their feet. But it's really just a process of back and forth and getting to understand each other. And there's just a lot of responses to your questions where you get a feel, hey, is this somebody that can run this company?
Mike, I want to circle back to you. We mentioned earlier the Jefferson Wells textbook venture capital deal. one of Mike's latest adventures is a very different model, Patina Solutions. It was created with angel investors, individual investors, I guess about 60 of them. And he wants to grow this business from $5 million in sales to $100 million in sales. The company has a very interesting business model that I think everyone in this room should be aware of, related to demographics. Without going into a commercial, Mike, I wonder if you could give us a 2-minute description of that company, of your new company's business model, and maybe how other companies can tap into this expanding demographic of us aging baby boomers.
Sure, and I'll send you the check later for the shameless plug there. Thank you. We saw an opportunity. I'm sort of a professional services guy, and the opportunity to be an organizer and sort of a manager and then a deployer of this wonderful demographic of talent with sort of 25 years minimum experience and up was very intriguing to us as we looked at the demographics. We said the workforce is aging, and if you just looked at the sheer numbers, people moving into that sort of 50-plus bracket, and there's a large sort of gap of just sheer numbers of people coming behind them. And we said there's a lot of wonderful knowledge and experience and seasoning and maturity and, the stuff we're talking about, sort of the wins and losses, but you have a lot of experience that goes into your own sort of lifetime of a career. And so we wanted to be sort of the first national movers of organizing that group and putting them out for special projects or interim executive and manager roles, or if somebody's got a small company that could use a great marketing executive for 50 hours a month, or a CFO for 3 months to get a company, sort of prettied up and ready to sell. So we raised money from individual angels. We thought we would try that as sort of the main funding source. It worked great. Even in 2008, when we were starting it in the fall of 2008, and the day we were supposed to close, I think the Lehman Brothers thing happened. I said, oh boy, we're going to lose all the angels, and we only lost one. It was a stockbroker, of all things. But so the plan is to put it across the country, but we're getting terrific feedback, and we've got great clients, and we'll go out there and try to build a brand and build awareness. And again, this is sort of what I feel like I'm on the planet to do, is start these companies up. But the model's getting great feedback, and it's an honor to lead a company like that. When you think about the talent we've been able to put out, we've put CEOs in to run companies, and we've done HR managers things and projects around compensation and things like that. So, we do a lot of things for a lot of different industries and a lot of different sort of business functions, but the common theme is everybody's going to come out there with a great amount of experience. So that's what we're doing. Thank you.
I'm proud of him. He didn't even mention that his latest venture is he's selling vodka, a brand of vodka that is now the official vodka of Miller Park and Bradley Center. So I'll expect another check.
Say yes.
Soon.
Yes, vodka. Sorry, Deb.
The three entrepreneurs there, I wonder if we can just go down the line. What's your end strategy? And how are you going to get there? JT? How does the JT story end?
Strategy. I don't like to think that way. Not just yet, anyway. I have many decades left. I am in an industry that's enormous. Printing is enormous. That is somewhat frowned upon because everybody sees the Kindle and that book printing is dwindling, and some magazines going online, not real successfully yet. So I have a challenge. Our business has been very robust for decades, and the print and deliver into newspapers, shared mail, direct mail, it's still the best way to get into the home for a low price. You can't call anymore with telemarketing. You can't do pop-ups on the internet because we all pay money to block them. Email is spam, we throw it away. So the best way to get new customers from a retail perspective is still to go into the home through print. How long will that last? Again, I think someone said in the earlier panel, crystal ball, we don't know. So the challenge I've got is to reinvent us as a company to take advantage of digital media, mobile couponing, along with the print to bookend it. In fact, there's been a 300% growth in the last 24 months in advertising in print for internet companies. because they're trying to get people to their internet site.
That's a
How do you
beautiful
do it?
thing.
So we're trying to take advantage of that, but we need to leverage technology. Why it was so important to get partners, reduce our debt so we can reinvest in our vision. My vision is to transform the retail advertising market from a small retailer perspective. So we are developing products, have some developed outside of print and deliver, that give the small retailer the resources that a large retailer has, whether it be mobile coupons, internet, radio, TV potentially. They can't do a lot of those things. So we're building a platform that the little guy can also do it, not just Best Buy, Target, Kohl's, Walmart. As for endgame, I'm going to have to leave that open.
He's punting. Kent?
It's probably the more important topic with M&A stuff is what is the end game, and I think it's really, really critical. I see a lot of companies, pretty much through my life of trying to do different things. One of the things if I ever tried to sell the company, I realized I had to go with the deal. So do I really, the way it was structured at least, if I didn't go with the deal, there wasn't a deal, and but then do you want to sell it at all? And so I, at least I hope I have a couple of decades left. I certainly hope, because I certainly love the game and love what I do. But that was part of my thought of bringing partners. Number one, I wanted to grow the business to a bigger company. But on top of that, it would diversify the company from a management structure. I got people that may want to buy me out as an ongoing concern long term versus just trying to outright sell it. And like it's been brought up multiple times, if you really don't understand, you have to tee up a company, obviously, if you're going to sell or get out of it, that the management staff has an ongoing concern that people believe in, that it's going to have the same success without you as it had with you. And it's a little hard to do that sometimes, especially I think for a technical person, because you have the passion for what you do. You have to be able to surround yourself with people that may have ideas that will compete with yours. And but you have to do it if you want the company to grow. Otherwise, it'll only be as big as you. So my end game is I just hope to retire with it at some point, and the company will grow, and we'll be able to have some young, 20-year-olds at some point try to buy me out. I would guess, when I'm 70. So.
Mike?
Well, let's see. I guess if I think out 4 to 5 years, I hope that Brown-Forman buys Yes Vodka. And I hope Manpower buys Patina. Korn Ferry buys Novo. But I think, I fully expect that within 5 to 6 years, I may not be involved in any of the things that I'm doing now, but I'll be in 3 or 4 other things. And the money and wealth that we hopefully create for our investors, they'll put it into a little more angel money. And again, this state has been fabulous, and I'm born and raised in Racine, still live down there. And the state's been fantastic as a place to get angel money. So I hope I can create a lot more angel money for individuals willing to take a risk and put some of their money, just a little, into something that could have a great big payout. So that's sort of what I hope my end game is.
Maybe you'll be one of the aging baby boomers that Patina puts out into the world. You'll be
We only use high quality talent.